Hi, welcome to the Psychic Pastry Chef, where two unlikely worlds merge. You may know me from my other YouTube channel, Pam Georgel, where I post monthly psychic tarot readings and crystal readings, and also record special psychic readings for my Vimeo On Demand channel. Here in these videos, I'll be combining my 22 years of experience as a pastry chef with my 16 years of working as a psychic to bring you videos that will show you how you can make great desserts, cakes, and pastries that will impress your friends and family, and I'll give you psychic messages for your zodiac sign while doing so. I psychically tuned into each sign of the zodiac and got messages about what desserts that each of the signs would enjoy. Today, in this show, we'll be focusing on Taurus. Now, my mother was a Taurus, so I know Tauruses very well, and they like sweet, sweet, sweet. All kinds of desserts. I never saw a dessert my mother or any Taurus didn't like. They definitely like the earthy flavor of nuts combined with the sweetness of brown sugar and any kind of desserts, chocolate, whipped cream, you name it, chocolate chocolate is the best with the Tauruses. But today, I'm going to be focusing on the combination of brown sugar and pecans to create a dessert called Praline Cheesecake. So are you ready to get started? Let's go. So the first thing you want to do for this recipe is prepare your pan. Now I'm using a 9-inch springform pan, and I lined it with a piece of parchment paper on the bottom and sprayed it with baking spray. You probably do not have to use the parchment paper lining, but it's a security blanket for me. That way I know for sure it isn't going to stick. But this recipe is loaded with butter, so spraying it with the baking spray is probably enough. So what you want to do is take half a cup of graham cracker crumbs with half a cup of finely ground pecans, mix them together. And if you don't like to use your hands, you can use a spoon. I am in the habit of using my hands because of the old bakery days. So you're going to use 2 ounces of melted butter, unsalted butter. So use that. All right. Now you're going to mix it up, and you want it to be the consistency of wet beach sand. That's what you're looking for. So if yours is dry, you might have not measured correctly because the half a cup of each with the 2 ounces of butter will give you this consistency of wet sand. So while I do this and press this into the bottom of the pan, I'm going to focus on the sign of Taurus, since this dessert is for Taurus. I pick up that Tauruses are going to be feeling really good about themselves, feeling really good in 2018, and feeling like you're looking good too. So looking good and feeling good for Tauruses. So you spread it out like that, and then you can start pressing it down in the bottom of the pan. If you like more crust than this, a thicker crust, you can always add, another 1/4 cup of the ground graham cracker crumbs and ground pecans, and half an ounce or 1 ounce of melted butter more if you want a thicker crust. This is not a thick crust. Also, I pick up Tauruses are going to be settling some dispute about money in 2018. This could be with a friend, a family, a business, or a legal dispute, but settling some kind of dispute about money. So that's what you want your crust to look like. Now I'm going to head off to start mixing the cheesecake batter. And as I always say, you should have all your ingredients measured out and weighed out before you start any project, cooking or baking, and make sure you preheat your oven. And this recipe requires 350-degree oven. You're also going to need a baking pan to put the springform pan with the cheesecake on. Don't put it directly on the rack in your oven in case there's any leakage that would occur from the springform pan, and then you'll have the whole house will be smoking and burning. So next step is to make the cheesecake. So this cheesecake requires 1.5 pounds of cream cheese, and you want to do this at room temperature cheese. Make sure you have your ingredients room temperature, your eggs and your cream cheese before you start. It makes a much smoother batter and it will mix together much more nicely. So you're going to cream your cream cheese until smooth, and you're going to add brown sugar. This is 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar. Now I'm going to let that really mix up well. This is really a delicious cheesecake. It's almost like you can't go wrong. It's foolproof. Most cheesecakes are. It's one of the easier desserts to make, and everybody loves cheesecake. I shouldn't say that, but I don't know too many people that don't like it. So I'm going by that. Going to give it one more scrape down before I start adding the eggs, because as I always say, this stuff loves to stick to the side of the bowl, the beaters and the bump at the bottom. So make sure you get all that scraped off and into the bowl. So now I'm going to start adding my eggs, and I've mixed in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla with the 3 eggs, 3 whole eggs that go next into the cheesecake. Make sure the batter beats that full egg in completely before you add your next egg. All right. Starting to look like cheesecake. So give it another scrape. And while I'm scraping this down, I want to say Geminis are also going to be taking a chance in 2018, or some kind of class. Some kind of class. I see Geminis really setting out a lot of new goals for themselves this year in 2018. So I'm going to let that mix a little bit. Now I'm going to add the pecans, which is 1 cup of chopped pecans and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You can mix these two together, which actually I am going to do. Cancers, in 2018, you got to guard yourself about too much worry or anxiety. You must put it aside, Cancer. I feel you're going to feel divided about some situation going on in your life. So now I'm going to put this mixer on stir and add that in, the pecans and the flour. So this sucker's just about done to go, ready to go in the pan. I'm going to stop it and scrape. You may have more work than usual, Cancer. I see in 2018 some of you may be working a lot of overtime hours. So just be prepared for that. It's a possibility. Obviously, these are general readings, just like the readings I do over on my other channel, Pamela Georgel, The Lucky Mermaid. You have to check those out for more expanded predictions. All right, that looks good. So now I'm going to put it in the pan, and we're ready to put it in the oven. So I'm going to look into Leo now. Leo, I see you changing your persona a bit. Your softer side is going to be coming out in 2018. Very affectionate in 2018 for the Leos. Not that you're normally not, but it's really kicking up in 2018. I also see for some of the Leos family issues, something about a family, somebody in the family or a family issue comes to the surface in 2018, and I see you thinking about and figuring out how to deal with it. So make sure you scrape this bowl down really well. You don't want to waste any of this cheesecake. I also see some of you Leos going in on a rental place or a vacation home with either friends and friends or family or relatives. So you could be for the whole summer, could be for just a couple of weeks, but I do pick that up for some Leos also in 2018. All right, so here we go. We've got the cheesecake in, and you want to spread it around, make it even. This is great to serve at, in November, December, holiday time, but anytime if you like the flavors of brown sugar and pecans, but it really goes good at holiday time. So I'm going to stick this in the oven. So I'm going to put this in the oven for about 45 to 50 minutes. If you test it and it's not looking right to you, still looks too loose, it may require an hour. But usually this cheesecake's done in about 45 to 50 minutes. And now we're going to make the topping for this cheesecake using 1 cup of brown sugar and 4 ounces of butter. This is the cheesecake after it comes out of the oven, and you're going to leave it in the pan when you're going to put the topping on it. Now, you're going to boil the 1 cup of brown sugar with the 4 ounces of melted butter. You're boiling it till it's boiling and foaming. You don't need to stir it a lot. All you want to do is just use a whisk when everything looks like it's starting to melt together and it's starting to look bubbly. Just whisk it together so it's not separated. You just want that emulsified look, and then let it go. Let it boil. Really let it come to a strong boil. And then you're going to pour it over the top of the cheesecake, and you're going to, swirl it around while just to cover all the entire top of the cheesecake with this mixture. So I think this looks about ready. All right. Now I'm going to pour it over. You do not want to touch this with your hands, believe me. Okay, and now we're going to swirl it around so it covers the top of the cheesecake. Ooh, makes the pan hot. Makes it hot. And then you let it set up, and then after it sets up, you can decorate it with nuts or whipped cream or whatever you want. So I'm just going to let this cool off for a minute or two, and then we'll put some whole pecan halves around the top edge, and I'll give you some more psychic messages as I do that. So now we're going to put this together, and I probably could have let it go a little further. It is a little, could have maybe gone a little longer in the pot, the brown sugar and butter, but you know what? Got to do what we got to do, what we got to do. So I put a knife around the springform pan to loosen it. And you know, you're going to have some spots you might want to take off there. Okay, so now tart pan bottoms are awesome for getting anything off of a pan. I highly recommend if you buy a tart pan, buy more than one bottom. So see, this did not stick, but you probably didn't need that paper. Now I'm putting it on the tray, and now we're going to finish it. So now I'm going to start putting the pecans around, and I'm going to, actually first, what I like to do, apricot glaze is your friend. Remember that, always your friend. So I have melted some apricot jam with water, loosened it up, boiled it, and this will help the pecans stick to the brown sugar. And I want to tell Virgos that they're going to be linking up in a partnership this year. Could be partnership in business, could also be partnership in romance. I also see Virgos getting any lost items, any items that you have been looking for or have been missing for a while are going to turn up in 2018. And Virgos also need to make the most, or are going to be making the most, of being in the outdoors in 2018, like camping or going to the beach, whatever it is that you like, that's what you'll be doing, Virgo, spending a lot of time outdoors. And now I'm going to look into the sign of Libra, and I get that Libras can expect a gift of cash coming to them in 2018. This could, or it could be an inheritance. So you've got some money coming to you, Libras, in 2018. And I actually feel like this money is going to come to you out of the blue, unexpectedly, and it could come up in June, July, or August. Also, Libras may start some company or business with their name on it. That was very specific, with their name on it in 2018. So now I'm going to look into the sign of Scorpio. Scorpios are going to be healing some old emotional wound from the past. And you may actually, Scorpio, find some like cool new place to hang out that you don't tell any of your friends or, you know, anybody, coworkers or friends about, because you don't want them to come and, you know, infiltrate your space. I see you like need your space. You need your hangout space. So now I'm going to look into the sign of Capricorn. I see you trying hard to win at something, Capricorn, like to excel. Could be in your job. Maybe you're trying to get a promotion, or maybe you play golf and you're trying to, you know, get better at golf. But I really see you trying to excel at something in 2018. Okay, so I've got the top part done, and I'm going to glaze it again. And what else I'm going to do, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to brush glaze around the outside, and I've ground up pecans, ground pecans. I'm going to coat the outside of this cheesecake. I transferred it too soon to the, you know, nice plate. I'm actually going to finish that all while it's on the springform pan bottom, and then I'm going to transfer it to the nicer plate. Okay, so now I'm going to coat the sides with apricot jam, the glaze, and I'm going to coat the sides with the ground pecans. Anytime you want to make fruit look nice, or anything shiny, or any fruit last longer, always get apricot glaze. You could always get peach preserves work as well. You know, if you want to use a red fruit, you can. If you have, like, you're doing something with red, all raspberries, all strawberries, you can use strawberry preserves, raspberry preserves. And this makes the nuts stick to it too. you know. So if you have to transport this somewhere, there's not going to be a danger of, you know, the pecans flying off if you glaze it. But you don't even have to do this step. You could just pour the brown sugar over it and serve it. You know, you don't have to go to this length. So I'm going to look into Aquarians while I'm doing this. I also wanted to add for Capricorns, I'm sorry I forgot to say, that I also feel Capricorns may also take up some new skill, new sport, like learning how to sail, or, you know, learning how to golf, or learning something that actually feels like a physical activity. It could be archery or anything like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put the pecans on. Aquarians, you're going to be becoming more self-sufficient in 2018. I also get becoming more fluent in your speech or with a particular language. Also, Aquarians, make sure you take time to smell the roses in 2018. You might be working too hard and not enjoying yourself enough, so don't forget to do that. You may feel like a middleman in some situation also. Keep things to yourself. Don't give out too much personal information unless you have to, Aquarius. Okay, so I feel like this is looking pretty good. I don't think we need to add any more nuts here. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to put it on the platter again. This time it's finished. And Pisces, I see you may be getting some proposal. You may get a proposal made to you, or you may be proposing to someone. This could be business or love, but I really did feel more like they were talking about love. And I see you setting on a new course of action and planning very strongly for your future in 2018. I feel like Pisces may also feel like they're a middleman in some kind of situation and seeing things from all sides. So here you go. Here's this for Taurus. And I'm going to give some predictions for Aries because that's the last sign. And while I do so, I am going to have a piece of this praline cheesecake because I like it myself. Aries are going to be making differences and changing their appearance in some way. You could be getting plastic surgery. I don't know. I'm not really sure what way you're going to be changing your appearance, but it definitely comes up here for the Aries people. So here we go. I want to get all that. Aries could also be dividing their time between two places in 2018, and this would have something to do with family. So now, let me give it a test, taste test. Oh yeah. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today and watching this video. Please remember to follow your passions. That way you'll know you're on your true path in life. Until next time. Thanks for watching The Psychic Pastry Chef. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in getting any of the special videos I've recorded for my Psychic Pastry Chef Vimeo On Demand channel with more recipes and psychic predictions for 2018 for each sign of the zodiac, you can access these videos for purchase by clicking on the link below this video, or you can go to my website, www.thepsychicpastrychef.com, and click on the videos tab on my menu. If you're interested in scheduling a private psychic reading with me, or purchasing any of the special videos that I record monthly for each sign of the zodiac for my Lucky Mermaid Vimeo On Demand channel, you can access those videos for purchase by clicking on the videos tab on my menu at www.theluckymermaid.com And go to my order page online scheduling calendar for booking new appointments, which reopens every 4 to 5 months. See you next month.